Margaret Roberts is a Sydney-based artist who since the 1990s has been exhibiting installations using construction, drawing, video, objects and the interaction of viewers. Her work experiments with the spatial framework provided by the interaction of audience and artwork. Here Margaret explores the relationship between her art and communication. Tell us about the ideas you're trying to communicate in your work.
I'm not really trying to communicate ideas. I don't set out to communicate ideas. I set out to try and see what happens when you do particular things with physical space and the relationship between physical space and the abstract space of a drawing or an artwork of some kind. And the ideas that are in the work, in a sense, you see afterwards. And so in looking at the work I've been doing for the last 20 or so years, I can say that very broadly they are to do with that relationship between abstraction and the concrete particular world. But I don't set out to show those as ideas. I set out to see what happens when you mix the two things together.
Give us an example of what you're talking about.
Yes, I guess I can talk about one of the first works I did. That was spatial drawings, and that is what I call the red corner, and that's a very simple example because it's a flat square, which is a drawing, and the three-dimensional space over which it is located. When you put those two things together, you don't still have a flat drawing, and you don't still have a corner of a room. You have something that the two make together. So when you talk about the ideas that come out of that, they're not ideas that I had in the beginning in trying to communicate. I was trying to just see what would happen when you do that. But in looking at it in retrospect, it is obviously about the competition, setting up a competition between flat drawing, two-dimensional image, and three-dimensional space, and you get all these crazy things happening.
What is the importance of audience interaction in your other works?
Well, it's whenever I can achieve a maximum audience interaction, I do it. It's very important. Sometimes you can't achieve it very much, but probably the most interactive work, or one of the most, is a work I did at the Tin Sheds Gallery. That was a work in which I installed two swings because it was a very strong old building with big beams across it. So I installed a swing, two swings on beams, and on the floor I put red oxide in large 3-metre square grids. At the opening night, people came and got on the swings and went berserk playing on the swings. They were actually placed so that they wouldn't hit each other, but they could go towards each other and nearly get to each other and go away again. And some people were standing up. People were standing on the swings in doubles, sometimes swinging. And at the end, the whole place looked like a massacre scene because the red was everywhere all over the floor and people were walking it outside, which was all quite appropriate because this was the end of this building. The building was going to get pulled down after this event. So there was a great deal of audience interaction, physical interaction, in the making of the work.
What are the limitations or challenges of this close relationship between you and your audience in your artworks?
Well, I guess in one sense it's a limitation. I wouldn't see it as a limitation, but which is that you can't predict what's going to happen. Sometimes it has some good effects.